Hello everyone, this is the test review for Unit 8. Woohoo! Anyways, let's get on with this and see what we need to do. Alrighty, I will go over every single problem, and then if you have any questions, well, it's kind of the negative of this. Anyways, I'll go through every single problem. Hopefully it won't take too long, but we shall see. Alright, so here's problem numbers 1 and 2, and all you gotta do is add or subtract. So I like to line them up and kind of put them in order, and you can see here trying to line things up. If I'm missing an exponent, maybe I either put a space or put a 0, but I'm trying to make sure that as I line things up that I can have the space to where I don't have the x squareds over the x's, and then I think I can combine those when I can't. So notice here how I get my answer. Notice that the exponents do not change when I combine them, and that's pretty much it. Now on the second one, I am changing the sign of everything that's here. So basically in the second parentheses, the minus outside of it is going to change the sign. So then I'll say 7 minus 3, which is 4, 8 minus 7, which is positive 1, and then negative 15 minus 6, which is negative 21. Whoops, there you go. So what do I do for a problem like number 3? Well, that's a good question. So on number 3, you might want to make sure that you say put everything in order, and then once you have them in order, then maybe make sure, and notice there I'm putting 0x squared because I'm missing an x squared. Once you have everything in order, line things up and then combine your like terms. Be careful on something like 9 minus 11, which becomes negative 2. A lot of times some of y'all might tell me just 2 or 20. But that's pretty much it. There you go. Just make sure, pay attention. If there's a plus, you got to subtract, and if there's if there's a plus, you got to combine, add. You won't change the sign. If there's a minus, you will change the sign at the second parentheses. Okay, so on number 4, you saw me go ahead and multiply. And during the class, I did it by, say, box method, but really this is just as easy to do by distributive property. So I would just multiply. Okay, so negative 8 times 3 is negative 24. X squared, that's 2x's will give me x to the 4th. Negative 8 times negative 6 would be positive 48. X squared and x gives me x cubed. And then negative 8 times 2 is negative 16. X squared times nothing is just x squared. And there you go. That's number 4, distributive property. You saw the box method, so y'all can go from that. Okay, so let's look at number 5. I'm going to multiply this one. This is multiplication. Again, it depends on which method you like to use. I prefer vertical. If you like to use box method or distributive property, see if you can do this problem, but follow my, and see if you can get the same answer I did. If not, try to figure out what you did wrong. Anyways, negative 7 times 5 is negative 35. 5 times 3 is 15x. Put a 0 next row. 2x times negative 7 is negative 14x. And then 2 times 3 is 6x squared. Notice that everything is lined up, so I can go 6x squared. 15 minus 14 is positive 1x, minus 35. And there's my answer. So that's all you got to do for number 5. Number 6, let me go ahead and show you how that works. There's number 4 with the box method. Number 6, you can see here, I did it by the distributive property method. I'm sorry, not distributive property, vertical method. And I'll back it up just a little bit. Okay, so I said 6 times negative 9 was negative 54. Negative 4 times 6 is negative 24x. 6 times x squared was 6x squared. Negative 9 times x is negative 9x. Negative 4 times x is negative 4x squared. And x times x squared is x cubed. And then just combine the like terms and kind of go from there. Notice that the exponents were not changing when I combined the like terms. Then, if you want to see box method is pretty much going to be the same thing. It's really no different. I'm letting number 4 play through. But here's the box method coming up. So, got it like this. And I would say x times x squared is x cubed. X times negative 4x is negative 4x squared. Negative 9 times x is negative 9x. 6 times x squared is 6x squared. 6 times negative 4x is negative 24x. And then negative 6 times negative 9 is negative 54. And then you would combine those two, and that would give you that answer. And so that's number 6 in a nutshell, and there you go from there. Starting number 7. Woohoo! I'm getting there. Anyways, on number 7, I would make sure that I add all sides. That's what it means to find the perimeter. You add all the sides. So maybe you set up something like this, and then you make sure that you add them all up. So, but the nice part is there, don't go there. You don't have to say carry anything. So I can say 2 minus 7 is negative 5. Negative 5 minus 7 is negative 12. Minus 3 is negative 15. Or you can type it in the calculator. 2 minus 7 minus 7 minus 3. Press enter and it'll give you an answer of negative 15. And then I can go 3 plus 5 plus 5 plus 6 to get 19. Number 8 would be no different. It is adding also. And so for number 8, you could add up all the sides, and then you should get 22x minus 6. Just by saying 4 plus 7 plus 4 plus 7 is 22. Negative 5 plus 2 plus minus 5 plus 2 would give me negative 6. So let's look at number 9. Okay, so number 9, I can add these two sides. That would give me 16x minus 1. Now you need to remember, you're going to subtract that from the perimeter, which means as you move it, that minus is going to change the signs. So really it ends up becoming 22 minus 16 and then 9 plus 1, because this minus is going to be distributed to both of those. And when you do that, you would end up with 6x plus 10. Okay, so here's number 10. Number 10 says find the area. So that means now I need to multiply. So let me go ahead and multiply. And here you can see me doing it by vertical method. And again, nothing too different than what you've seen before. Okay, so you can see 5 times 3 is 15. 3 times 6x is 18x. 4x times 5 is 20x. And then 4x times 6x would be 24x squared. Combine those and get the answer. If I did this by box method, I would go ahead and say something like this, and just kind of, you notice you're going to get the same answer, it's just a slightly different look. So you can see here how I'm getting those. And then distributive property, you just got to remember that when you do distributive property, it is write 4x, and then you write times the 6x plus 5, and then say plus 3 times the 6x plus 5, and then distribute. And then go ahead and combine your like terms, which should be the ones in the middle. So here's number 11. Notice that one's also asking for area. So I'm going to multiply 5x times 3x, which is 15x squared. 3x times negative 8, which is negative 24x. 5x times 7, which is 35x. And then 7 times negative 8, which is negative 56. Combine your like terms, and you end up with 15x squared plus 11x minus 56. So let's look at number 12, the fun one. Okay, so number 12, you got something like this. You got to remember, yes, you'll multiply both of those rectangles, but then you got to make sure you subtract them, and be careful on how you subtract them. So you can see here, 24x squared plus 16x is the area of the big rectangle. X squared plus x minus 20 is this area of the small rectangle. Then I'm going to subtract those two. So here's me setting it up to subtract, and that minus means it's going to change the sign of everything from the second one, which most of y'all got the idea, but you forgot to change the sign of the last number. And so that would be where you get that answer like that. Alright, so now let's look at long division. We're only going to do 13 and 15 by long division, and then we'll do 16, 17, and number 14 by synthetic division, and I'll even do number 15 by synthetic division also. That way you get the fractions. Okay, so here's the setup for long division. And what we do here is we start off, remember, you're not going to put anything over the first number. So you're going to start off here, and think about it. It's going to, like, if you got x cubed, then you're going to have, your answer is going to start off with x squared, you'll have an x, and then you'll have a number. And I'm going to go here, like, say 3 divided by 1. So looking at the lead terms, 3 divided by 1. 3 divided by 1 is 3. And then I take that answer and multiply it. So 3 times 1x is 3x cubed. 3x squared times 3 is 9x squared. Change my signs. and then cross out the first terms and say 7 minus 9 is negative 2x squared. And bring down the next one. So now I'm going to say negative 2 divided by 1, which is negative 2, which would give me negative 2x squared minus 6x. Change the signs. That would give me 2x plus 3. Then I can go, okay, what is 2 divided by 1? 2 divided by 1 is 2. That would give me 2x plus 6. Change my signs. The first terms cancel out, and I get 3 minus 6, which is negative 3. And that would be my remainder. And that's really all it is. It's just a simple matter of flow and just kind of getting used to it. So number 15, same idea, same principles, a number in front. I'm going to go, okay, 6 divided by 3 is 2, and that would be x cubed because it's over the x cubed. 2 times 3 is 6x to the 4th. 2 times 1 is 2x cubed. Change my sign. 5 minus 2 is 3. And then bring down the x squared. And now I'm going to say, okay, 3 divided by 3 is 1. Multiply. And then weirdly enough, everything cancels out here. So I'm left with a 0x squared. Whoops, went too far. Okay, so I'm going to still do that. And now I'm going to say, okay, well, 0 divided by 3 is 0. So I'm going to say, okay, 0 times anything is 0. Bring down the 3x plus 1, and then I'm going to say, okay, negative 3 divided by 3 is negative 1. And then I can change my signs, and I end up with a remainder of 2. Easy peasy, right? Okay, so that's long division. Really, the main idea is always think you're dividing the lead numbers by the number that's here in front. That will give you these numbers that go up top here. And then you got to take those and multiply them to get these answers that you write on the rows, and then subtract those out. Alright, so let's look at number 16 with synthetic division. Keep in mind that when you see the x plus 4 or anything in the parentheses is going to be the opposite for the half box. Then you just write the numbers that go across. So 3, 4, negative 32, 5, negative 20. Bring down the first number. Multiply. Combine. Multiply. Combine. Multiply, combine, multiply, and combine. And there's the only one where I got an example of 0 for a remainder. And then after that, just remember, if it's x to the 4th, your answer should be x to the x cubed. And you can write it, like notice this one had a 0x. You can put it in or you can leave it out completely. Whichever way is fine. Now, what happens when you have one that has a missing exponent? Make sure you put a 0. So like on number 17, because I'm missing the x squared, I put a 0 in its place. And so again, I'm going to bring that to 2. 2 times 3 is 6. Combine, multiply, combine, multiply, combine, multiply, combine. And there's my remainder of 93. Ooh, that's a big remainder. Anyways, so my final answer is 2x cubed plus 5x squared plus 15x plus 26 plus 93 over x minus 3. So you can kind of see how those work, not too difficult. Finally, let's look at let's look at number 14, and then I'll finish up with 15, but 15 by synthetic division. Keep in mind, anything to the negative 1 power just means divide, but you may not have to worry about that too much. And again, I did this one by synthetic because I'm not going to give you any long division problems that won't have, let's say, a missing exponent. Okay, so here I've got, bring down the 1. 1 times negative 2 is negative 2. And then I got negative 5. That becomes positive 10. 10. Negative 20. Negative 15. Positive 30. Gives me 24. And there's my final answer for that one. So, again, not too difficult. Should be fairly simple. So finally, let's look at 15 by synthetic division. You would get the 3x plus 1. You would change the 1, so that would become negative 1, but then you would divide it by 3. That's where I get the fraction. So I'm saying, basically, when I have 3x plus 1, change the sign, divide by the number in front of the x. Then write all the other numbers, and you're just multiplying by a fraction, by negative 1/3. So you're saying like 6 times negative 1 divided by 3. That's what you would type into the calculator. And those are the numbers you would end up getting. Now, notice that these numbers are slightly different than the previous version. So you got to divide this right here by the number that's in front of the x, and then that will be your final answer. Notice those numbers match up, so now I have 2x cubed plus x squared minus 1 plus 2 over 3x plus 1. So notice I didn't have an x, so I just skipped it. And that's pretty much it for today. Let's see, I guess y'all are going to want a bonus word. Maybe I can give y'all a bonus word. Who knows? What should I do for a bonus word? Let's go with, since I have regionals coming up this weekend, your bonus word is regionals. You have to write that on the test for me to give you some bonus points. Okay? Y'all take care. Thank you so much for listening. Thank you so much for watching. Be good.